Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to go ahead and get started. So we're doing a live B2B software website assessment. So thank you for all of those that had submitted web pages to be reviewed during our webinar today. My name is Jen Bischoff. I'm the Director of Marketing Services here at Capterra. So I head up a team that's actually devoted to helping our customers with their marketing campaigns. Specifically building landing pages and helping them test those out for their campaigns. So, have run across quite a few different pages, have a lot of experience on, taking page design back to conversion data. And that's one of the things that I wanted to mention for today's webinar is that, everything that I go over is based on best practices. And, obviously wanting to take all of that testing information back to actual conversion data is really important. All right, so the agenda for today, we'll be going over quickly the key features to have on a website or a landing page to help with your conversion activity for lead generation. And then we'll actually go into the live website review. So I'll be spending some time and going through each web page. And then at the end of our webinar, we're going to have some time for questions. So as we go, if you do have questions, feel free and chat those to us, and we'll get to those at the end of the webinar. We'll also be sending out the recording post-webinar. So if there's something that you missed, you should get that in your inbox, so no worries there. So now we're just going to switch over, quickly, okay, so getting into the key features of a landing page, and then I'm going to switch over and show you an example of a landing page that is live on Capterra that's converting well and going through some of these elements. So those features of a landing page to really drive conversion, first off is your value proposition. So having a really strong, compelling headline that gets into exactly what you do. So anyone that's getting to that page shouldn't have any hesitancy on, where did I get to? What is this company offering? The next part of this is targeted, scannable content. So super easy to read text copy. That could be in bulleted format or block text. Again, if someone's getting to that page, you want to ease and take away some of their effort on actually trying to understand the value of your software that you're providing to that buyer. The next one here is your call to action. Super important to have a next step outlined for your prospects. It should be compelling as well. So on Capterra, I would say the most compelling calls to actions that perform the best is typically a free demo or a free trial. Not every software company offers a free trial, but most prior to purchase will offer some type of consultative sales call or demo for someone to get a sense of what the solution is like before actually purchasing it. That call to action should be connected to a short lead capture form. So this is your opportunity to grab a prospect's contact info so that your sales team can start following up with them. The next here is having trust elements on the page. Super important to be building up your credibility in the space. Trust elements could be anything from having text testimonials or a video testimonial. Also any awards or accolades, any type of metrics-oriented copy on there, also great. I'd even lump in putting in, integrations in here too and mentioning some of the other popular software tools that your software might integrate with. Lastly, a bullet point that's not on here that I do want to bring up because I think it's super important is your image content on that page. So everyone doing research online nowadays is so visual. So when they get to a page, pretty important to engage them visually. So you're capturing their attention, you're drawing them into the page. those that are converting the best oftentimes have some type of emotional connection with the image content that they've picked out on that page. So next, want to quickly walk through these elements on a live example of a page that we have. So we're just going to switch screens here. So I have this photo shelter page up. This is actually a dedicated standalone page, so not their homepage of their website. We've noticed that landing pages do, on average, perform really well. So, you know, once you get to this page, simple and powerful visual asset management. So I know right away what this software is offering. So great value proposition headline. They have a really engaging image, background image here next to their form. So obviously with digital asset management software, the image content on the page really has to be great, you know, for that type of industry. Sub-headline here, getting into a little bit more on what the solution's offering, you know, easily store, organize, and share their images and videos. Sub-headlines are also great areas to put in your target market copy. So if you're a little bit more niche when you're doing advertising or something like that, super important to make all of that clear up front to a buyer. So that's, you know, maybe you're targeting small to mid-size, maybe it's something about user size or employee size. Love to have that front and center on the page to educate your prospects. Next here, you're going to see the compelling call to action. They're offering a free demo. That's awesome. Pretty short form here, just asking for the most important contact information to get someone to convert. And then next, as we go through the page, continuing down, great trust elements here. They have some customer logos on here with some pretty recognizable companies, Chick-fil-A, you know, Carnival, PBS, all of those. Awesome. Next step down here, getting into some of the features and benefits. They have really great metrics-oriented value-add copy here on the right in these bulleted areas. So, you know, save an average of this many hours. You know, 70% of teams wasted time. 65% of clients weren't able to find the right assets. So, some great numerical content there. Next to that, a video. Love really well done videos that give some more insight into the tool. Videos are a great way to give a lot of information in a very easy to consume format, obviously. Again, continuing down the page, reinforcing this call to action that just draws someone back up to that form at the top. So whenever anyone's ready to convert, it's front and center. And then as I scroll down, again, I just want to mention the importance between the image content and the text copy on this page. Great image content, you know, definitely utilizing some icons with text to further help educate someone on each point on this software. Continuing down, we have a screenshot here, Legoland, one of their customers. So getting a great sense of what this tool does through the actual screenshots of the solution. So love to see that. Further down the page, they've got some testimonials, customer testimonials that obviously helps further build up your credibility. Everything that your customers can rave about you is much more powerful than what you're going to rave about yourself in front of buyers. And then finally, at the very bottom of the page, just reinforcing this call to action. That should be really the last thing to draw someone back to the main conversion point. And I also like that they've embedded this Capterra, the review badge there as a third-party credibility element. So easy to embed that on a page once you've gathered, you know, some reviews from your customers. All right, so I want to get into those that had submitted their web pages. So first one here is Base Truck. Super clean above the fold. You have your value proposition headline, all your logistics management needs in one software solution. Very upfront, have a great idea as to what they do, showing me an actual screenshot embedded in the mobile device. I'm guessing mobile is pretty important for this type of industry, so they've chosen to embed that mobile phone on this page. That's great. Some easy to read features as to what this tool does. That's awesome. The one concern that I have in looking at this page is the real estate here to the right for a sign in. Any web page, and this looks like it is a dedicated landing page, really should be designed for the main lead capture. For a sign in, I'd probably stick that up like in a top right hand corner. Is usually something that is industry pretty recognizable in a spot on a web page for that type of navigation. And then here they have a really compelling offer, try now for free. They have this nice little icon here visually next to it, some exclamation points. But it doesn't stand out on the page. It's the same color as that background, blue. So I'd like to see that pop. I think right now this form is really drawing my attention when it should be the main conversion path. And then as I scroll down, great content here with some icons and text copy on what the solution does, some more text copy. Get in touch, that's not quite as compelling as the trial, so I'd like to see that reinforced a few more times as I'm scrolling down. Love seeing some testimonials here with an actual picture and some names. It'd be great to also actually have a company name here. Possibly even what their position is can help further build that credibility of this content for testimonials. And then I get down here for all of the pricing plans. Again, the call to action here is reinforced to try it for free. The one thing, again, I test out a color that's different from the primary color scheme of the page, which they have a lot of blue to make that pop even more. So I'm going to click on that to see where that takes me. So it pops open this pop-up form. It's a registration form. So that creates a little bit of anxiety. One thing that I want to mention as I review these pages is we're really looking for where is there conversion opportunity versus where is there conversion friction? What could be causing friction on the page? This would be an area that I think represents a little bit of friction. Instead of registration form, I'd like to see what is the most compelling value that you're offering here, which is the trial. Have the headline reinforce that. It's showing me that there's multiple steps here. I like that it's showing me up front that there's multiple steps, but that can also create a little bit of hesitancy in going through each part of this because it seems like I'm not sure how much time this is going to take me if I'm in a rush to get this set up. Also curious on, they ask for phone required here, another phone field. I don't think that's quite necessary. They ask for fax. I'm curious how important that is on the page to me, knowing company name and email and phone. Those would be the most important. The other copy here that I'd be curious on testing out is the choose plan. Again, is this the trial that I'm submitting this for, or I'm actually signing up for a plan? Maybe I'd test out some different copy there with, choose trial. Or something like that, or choose your trial plan or something for that. So those are the main points that I wanted to bring up on this page. Next one that we have here, I click over right away. I notice this light here, so the strobing light. Know that there's something about emergencies that I'm going to be learning about. I do like that it's pretty upfront and center for the value proposition. You have protect your students and staff in an emergency, immediately and automatically notify. I think that that's pretty important copy right here because, yeah, if there's an emergency, everything's got to be quick, easy. So that's important. I do like a directional cue here towards the form. And then, here they get this a little bit more headline above the fold. Text copy here that's getting into a little bit more as to what this solution is offering. So fully addresses the school district or offices, municipalities' communication needs in case of a lockdown, active threat, or other emergency event. The one thing that I'll say on this page is that it's great to try to create urgency here with the colors and everything and the image that you're picking on the page, and you have an exclamation point here. But you do want to steer away from creating anxiety. So one thing that I'd love to test against this page would be a much more industry-specific image with, some students maybe reunited with family members outside of a school, or something that's emotionally engaging there. That's, again, industry-specific. That might help ease that a little bit and draw someone in. I love this offer, though, watch our short video. This is so little that you're asking someone to invest in to just watch a video. So that's really great. It says a little bit more down here. See how easily you can enhance the safety through this video. Not asking for a lot of information. Now, if this is a standalone landing page that they're testing out, likely do not need the how'd you hear of us. That's not always an accurate field to ask prospects. A lot of the time, they might type in just a search engine search or something like that, or Google or something. So that can actually be tracked automatically when you're doing paid campaigns through tagging your URLs and bringing that into your form information without having to have that field there. I like that they chose this green button on the form, so that's different from the color scheme that pops out on this page. The only other things that I would test on this page would be, as I read through these, earlier on I'm curious on what the communication looks like. What type of communication is this tool helping me to leverage? So earlier on I'm curious to see that. I like that they have a testimonial. I am wondering, is there enough credibility that's established on this page? One cool thing that would be neat to test would be maybe lower on this section, bringing out bullets on a case study that's been done. Certainly don't want to include a full case study, but if you can, high-level snippets here that could actually help build a little bit more credibility, that would be something to test on this page. As you're getting this page to be longer, where you don't see the form anymore, obviously you want to test out having another button that would connect someone back up to this form. But again, some of these ideas are just worth testing out because overall, like the layout, it's really easy to read. I do get a good understanding of what the solution is offering. So next one up that we have here, so we have a business plan software. Great headline, the world's leading business plan software built for entrepreneurs like you. So I'm getting a sense that, for those that are starting businesses, this is probably super helpful for them to be able to pitch, plan, and track their business anywhere, from anywhere. So I like how clean and how easy to read that is. I get across the value pretty well. And then they have this laptop, with a customer might have that up with the solution that they've used. It would be nice to see that a little bit more crisp, so I get even a better idea of the user experience. They might have made that a little bit fuzzy in order to maybe that's sensitive information. But again, as a prospect, love to see any type of screenshots that convey usability. Scrolling down on this page, very clean copy, very easy to read. The one thing here, though, is they do have a lot of buttons after button here in a row horizontally with the Learn More. And it's good to offer Learn More, especially if this is their homepage. So they're offering up different navigation points. But just be careful of the amount of buttons you have on the page, especially if they are not your main call to action. So worth testing, maybe just doing a little bit of a link here. They are ghost buttons, so they're not drawing my attention as much as a button that could be more colorful, which is the sign up button. But again, would like to be pushed more with the button copy here. We have read customer stories to their main offer on this page. They do actually do a great job here with the credibility of testimonials and the image content that they have there too. I love that. Numerical copy here, 350,000 customers, great copy to have on a page. So scrolling down, so I get to watch a video, sign up. So watch a video pops this open. Okay, I did get a video that pops open. I scroll up here. I just want to go back to this video tour because it goes to the same video. I'd just be careful of the way you use video tour because for me a tour would be maybe more of a tour of the software where this is more of a high level like intro video. And then we have, you're pushing me towards start your plan. So I'm a little bit concerned that there isn't a intermediary offer here between actually signing up for the solution. So if I'm looking to generate leads from this, I'm probably seeing some abandonment when people are hitting that page. So for the video, you could test out that as lightly gated if you want to, or actually creating some semi, light, maybe 5-minute, video tutorial that actually does a deeper dive on the solution. So some ideas there, or actually offering up like a trial version or a free demo of the solution. So just some, very low-hanging fruit here to add a different type of offer, change this up a little bit between pushing me to actually pay for the solution right away and then helping you to generate some more leads from your website, which is pretty crucial to help, start building your pipeline, having your sales team reach out and, nurture those leads into paid customers. So next one I have here, moving pretty quickly. Sorry if I'm going too fast, but we did have a lot of submissions, so I wanted to get through, as many as possible. So we have Maven Vista Technologies here. Right off the bat, so what I want to mention about this page is the movement. So when you're using movement on a page, it draws attention, but there's a lot of movement going on here from this scrolling down to the awards, key clients, information scrolling down, and then of course I have this banner here. Typically as people are landing on a web page, I don't recommend these carousels. A lot of people don't really pay a lot of attention to that, and they're ignoring that and trying to dive into some of the other copy here. But overall, I don't get a sense of what they offer. Like, I'm not drawn to a great value proposition headline. I'm reading this when you get what you negotiate. Still, I have no idea what they do. Chances are I'm just going to abandon the page because this is too much effort for me to be digging and spending time to actually figure this out. I want it pretty easy and upfront to know, like, what value are you providing me? And then the other thing too is for, client logos, I think you'll get a lot more across the page that someone can see visually, because already you're only getting a couple that someone sees. They're probably not even seeing all of them because of the movement down. So you're going to actually get more, I think, vision and from a prospect on a page if they're horizontal. I see that working really well. And then again, so the other thing on this page is, what do you want me to do next? Like, maybe I have gotten interested in your software, even though I don't really understand what you do, but there's no call to action. So I have this log on. I scroll down, and I do see this download e-brochure, but it did not stand out to me. So I'd love to see a compelling call to action button, connected to a short form. So there's a lot of opportunity for this web page to see some increased engagement just through, really taking that back to the first page that we went through with the value prop, making it easy with bulleted text format for your features and that call to action, making sure that that's there. Next one here is Collaborator. So the web-based tools for e-learning and staff development. Really like the image on this page. The background, I'm getting a sense of the usability of the solution that they've pitched there. Her eyes are drawn out. This is kind of an interesting tidbit. So my eyes are drawn to her because she is looking out. She looks pretty friendly. But what can help too is using models and their eyes for directional cues as well. So if they're looking towards a button, that can help direct attention there. I do also like this little this movement here telling me to go move further down on the page, where I'm going to get more information, because this is taking up most of the above the fold content. And if I think that that's all I'm getting on this page, I'm probably going to abandon because it's just not enough information for me to convert. So they do have this more info, but the first button I see is actually this order button, and I'm like, ooh, pushing me too quickly to a purchase, and I'm not ready. So would love to see in this scenario testing out, again, probably something more intermediary and compelling for someone that needs to learn more, that needs more nurturing prior to purchase. So offering up a free demo where someone can follow up. I do like how they presented me with features here. As I'm scrolling down, though, one thing that I noticed with the screenshots, which I'm sure this company is probably trying to break into more of the English-speaking market, so would love to see the screenshots updated with the translation there. I'm going to get a lot more understanding of the tool by having that. So that's going to be important for them to switch over besides just the other text copy on this page. But I do like the idea of, you know, having text copy and then having a good image and staggering that as I'm scrolling through this page. The one thing though, as I'm, you know, reading more about the solution, again, they need to reinforce the call to action and the next step that I need to take to convert, and it needs to be something that I really feel like I'm getting value, like a demo. Likely I'm just not going to be ready to purchase, especially, you know, as I scroll down and look at the pricing of this. I don't think I've had enough. I haven't learned about the solution enough to feel comfortable spending that amount. So they have to order. I want to see something else. Like a demo or a trial offered up, so I don't have to invest so much up front. Lots of buyers aren't going to do that. They do have this request commercial offer, but I don't really know what that is. I don't know if that's like a sale thing that's going on. I move down, I finally get to this trial version button, and that's really what I wanted to see higher up on the page and differentiate it as my main call to action with a unique color. One of the things here, they have 3 different calls to actions. Don't recommend 3 in a row like this. That can deteriorate the actual conversion path too. I've noticed that having a primary offer works really well, and then testing a secondary offer that is presented a little bit differently, whether it's, you know, just a link or a more of a ghost button than your primary offer that should be the most prominent color, differentiating from the primary color scheme of the website. So I did finally get to that trial version, but would have loved to have seen that throughout this web page higher up. Clicking over to the next one here, we have Gratify. So this was the web page that was submitted. So this isn't their home page. So when I got here, I saw this new contest and thinking something about contests, benefits for managers. I don't really know what they offer. So that's, if you're testing this out as a landing page right off, like not enough information here to know what's being offered. Actually, I had to click back, you know, over to their homepage to get more of their value prop. So employee engagement through incentive programs. So that helped me out there. But going back to this page, you know, they're trying to parse out between for managers, for employees. Typically, in my main line of vision, I do want to be pushed more towards your most compelling offer, which is stuck here up in the corner. This can become a blind spot. So it really is important as someone's consuming this copy on the page, make sure that's embedded in the main line of vision as someone's digging into the value of your solution. I scroll down here. This feels a little bit text heavy. I'd like to see that lightened up a little bit so it's easier to read because I'm throwing a lot of text in this section here. Love how this is presented. You know, you have these little icons, and then you know, we go beyond gamification. Great, that's awesome. Looks very nice. Scrolling down, getting a little bit more credibility. They had some credibility on their homepage with customer logos, which is great. The main thing that I'm curious on this, which I love that they do match, you know, their branding with the image content that they're using, but I'm curious to know what's the usability of the software. So maybe trying to stick in maybe a screenshot here or there would be helpful. And then also maybe just, yeah, trying to get someone to convert to that free trial. And let's just see if we click over. You know, pretty easy to sign up. Nicely done there. Sign up in 1 minute. That's good. I might actually reinforce, maybe not exactly like sign up copy, but again, reinforcing that this is the trial version. But I like that the focus is on the form. I'm not throwing a lot of information on the form page. Moving over to our next solution here, we have transport management software for road transport operators. Again, when I get to a page and I read the value prop, and then next thing I'm going to look at is the visual content, it's nice to embed your call to action here as well. So I might have just dropped this down a little bit. and reinforce this request demo right here. One of the things that I would be careful of on the copy of this page, overall, really like the page, visually engaging, it's very clean. So we have this we develop, who we are, down here it's what we do. I think that can be a little bit more compelling if you're switching that around, and instead of talking about, this is what we do, it's more of transitioning that to what is the value add, what's something, how are you helping your clients or your prospects? What pain points are you addressing? I think that becomes much stronger when you switch out those headlines there. So I'm scrolling down. I think, again, reinforcing this request demo in the main line of vision will be very helpful. They do have some really good, credibility content through their testimonials. I love seeing this copy here. I scroll further down. I actually really like this copy. 30% of motor transport's top 100 hauliers use our software. That kind of copy would actually, I'd also test higher up on the page, just that little numerical content there, besides having it here, because that can be pretty powerful, which is great to see. So now I'm going to click on their offer for the request demo. Might be worth testing out, request free demo. It's nice to stick that free in there, letting someone know, no obligation. But I get to a contact us. One of the things that's really important when you're offering up your call to action is having consistency when someone's clicking on that button to that form page. So I'd be having the headline, again, reinforcing it's for the demo. I get to this tabbed area. I'd really make sure that all of your information is parsed out on separate pages of your website. So the request demo form should be completely separate than having someone, click over on these different tabs. Certainly a contact us page, that's where you'd want to find all of this information. Really just want to make sure that you're focusing on, for that demo, which is the most compelling, getting them to fill out that form. You are also taking up some real estate with mentioning this, and then also re-mentioning it here. So no need to do that. So there's a few ways of cleaning this up a little bit. I do get to the form. I notice that they're not, requiring a lot here on the form, but it does feel long. So another area worth testing is just on the amount of fields here. My guess is, for the most important contact information, that's great to have, but then test out maybe what for your sales team would be super helpful to help them qualify leads is that fleet size. Having them put in their requirements is a little bit more time intensive, and then you have a comments field, and then this how did you hear about it. So lots of areas to test out on scaling down to see how that can impact your conversions without impacting too much, helping, I do understand you want to help your sales team out, but you want to get as many quality leads as possible, and then figure out maybe one qualifying question, again, just kind of reinforcing that point to help them figure out how to prioritize their time. I also like when they reinforce that offer on the button, so get demo instead of submit, adding a little bit more interest, and again, creating consistency there. Clicking over to our next page here. So we have legal systems. Again, we do have a little bit of a scrolling banner here. The first thing that I'm reading, though, to try to understand what they do is this copy here, efficient automation, with legal systems framework. So not compelling, and I think it needs to be a little bit more information as to what exactly are they offering, because every software is trying to automate something, right? So building this copy out, being more specific as to what you're doing, having that static higher up on the page, because that's really what I want to look at first. In terms of image content, I'd love to see something that's a little bit more industry specific. That's something, as I see it, that makes, I know legal right away. I know legal is your industry. So that would be another thing very much worth testing on this page. The other thing too is I am hit with a lot of, different blocks here of information. So it's nice to create a hierarchy of information. So when someone gets to a page, making sure the headline sticks out, and then sub-headlines, slightly smaller text. It's really helping someone digest information just through design, just through creating that hierarchy of information, and not throwing buckets of different stuff that's not helping someone consume it. So for example, over here, there's all of these buckets, and it just becomes a little bit of a blind spot because they're all looking the same. You have your great offer here of, a demo, but it's really not sticking out. You're also offering up this client comment, but putting the same weight as your call to action. And these actually feel button-like to me too. So deteriorating the impact that just if you were just using your request demo as a colorful button could have on visually getting someone to convert. So these are all areas that I'd be looking at on this page to be testing out and changing up how I'm, putting some information forth on this website. I'm just going to quickly click over on their request a demo to get a sense of their form. Pretty simple form, request demo. I love this button here. That's great. I think that it could be aligned a little bit more. It feels funny with this blank space here and then having this. So maybe dropping the comments and trying to, making a little bit more symmetry on this page between these two. But overall clean form, and I like how bright that turns for request demo. Moving on to our next one, so we have Frank, enjoy management. I like how clean this page is. The first thing that I do read is their branding though, and honestly, I don't know what they do through just this enjoy management, because, management, it's so, that really is, connects to a lot of different types of software, and what are you trying to manage? So that worries me a little bit. I do need to dig into this. This is what tells me exactly what they're offering, all-in-one project management. So that's what's most helpful to me, and it's pretty small text. The other important point here is their target market copy that they do have here. What I'd be testing out, though, is bringing both of these together into one headline and differentiating maybe through color to make that stick out even more. That's how I think I would test this out. So again, when someone's hitting this page, they are consuming the right type of information to get a good sense of what you're offering. I do like that you considered and did put your target market copy there, so that's great to see. Love this picture here, getting a sense of how easy it is to use the solution. Here I do have some pretty strong offers. The one thing that I want to say is, again, when you get to 3 offers, it's interesting. It can actually, you're presenting too many offers. 2 can work well, but we've run some tests, and as soon as you get to 3, it's like, which one do I want? And then someone's not converting. So something worth testing out here on the offers that you have. So it's not 3, testing out maybe just your primary. I like how this is bigger, so I'm guessing that that's primary offer there. But primary offer and a secondary offer, I think that your most compelling here is the start for free and schedule a demo. I scroll down on the page. Again, great visuals throughout. The one thing that I will say is just be careful with the type of font you're using in smaller text, because that just becomes a little bit harder to read there. So I have these learn more buttons, which definitely compete with your main call to action, and I just click on that, and it pops open this screenshot. So instead of saying learn more, I might actually be a little bit more deliberate into what that action, what someone's getting when they click on something like that. I probably wouldn't present it as a button. I'd probably say, or I might show it as a ghost button. It's just say, view image or view screenshot or view whatever particular component of the solution that is. Putting that in there can help, and I think that gives someone a better idea of what they're getting when they click on that. So I'm scrolling down here, just getting a better sense. This is great copy here on 31 countries, how many projects they've done. I like this is building up credibility. They have some very nice customer testimonials laid out on this page as well. So that's cool to see. So finally, I get to the bottom of the page. I do like that at the very bottom, they are again reinforcing a call to action. So I'm going to go and see, like, okay, I'm interested in trying this out. But when I click on this, I'm a little bit overwhelmed at first. So important point here for conversions is, definitely keeping it simple. So I get that you're, wanting to collect. I think you're trying to do a little something that's a little bit different with your full name and trying to get into, now hand to heart. Tell me if you are a human or a robot. It's auto-checked to robot. I'm a little concerned that it's auto-checked for that. So, and then the other thing too is I want to see reinforced on what is this? And this is a trial, and that's not reinforced here. So you're asking me a lot of effort up front. Definitely want to know, still reinforcing what am I getting out of it. And then you have the send me the email. So I'm a little bit confused between, okay, send me the email, I'm going to get an email, but then am I going to be dropped into doing this, or do I have to go to my email? So a little confused there on the next step for getting the trial. And then I just want to go back here for schedule a demo and show this pop-up. So all of your calls to actions should be connected to a short form. Make that super easy for someone to connect with you. So instead they have this pop-up, and then they're asking for another click to open, trying to open a email, and someone typing an email. Again, it makes it a lot easier if you're just connecting that to a form. The other value add of doing that is tracking purposes. It'll help you track, campaign-specific performance when it's all through forms. Once you open an email, you won't be able to track that, or once the prospect opens the email. Clicking over to our next one here, which is a job board solution. So yeah, really I love seeing all these submissions. I really enjoy doing these types of sessions and looking at, again, where's opportunity, where's friction, because little things can really have an impact. And, user is king here for your users that are on your website. That's what you really want to understand. And you want to get in the mindset of, how is the user interacting with my web page? How do I make it easy for them? That's the mindset here. So great, I know exactly what they do with their value prop. Nice background image there. Scrolling down, very nice content laid out, testimonials here. I get into some feature content, learn more. Learn more. Again, we have these learn more, lots of learn more buttons without reinforcing your primary offer, so that's drawing attention away from the conversion path. One thing that I do want to point out that I thought was interesting with the navigation on this was, as I scrolled down to the bottom, I was like, okay, well, this should be a good amount of information. I am presented with the trial again, but then I'm like, or, see this. And as I continue doing this, it actually did that again and again. So it's almost feeling like, well, yeah, you have the opportunity to do this trial, but maybe you should check this out first. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I like the idea of offering up maybe some more information and testing that to see if someone really needs that. But should that be presented like this, where it's like, okay, you could try this, but maybe you should check this out, because you're drawing someone further and further in, and at some point they're like, okay, I don't have enough, I just don't have more time to invest in this. I got to click away, maybe come back, maybe not. So that is the worry on this type of setup. But once I click over to the create my trial, love the form, create my trial, super simple, very short form. So I really like seeing that. Very nicely done. Clicking over to our next page here that was submitted. So this is not their homepage, obviously. But one thing that I want to mention, though, if they are testing this out as a dedicated landing page, we've done a lot of conversion data and reviewing that data for pages like this. And what I would say is this page doesn't build up enough credibility. It doesn't build enough value add of this software to really get someone to convert. So my thought here, and this is what's happened with other software advertisers, is they've had a lot of abandonment on a page like this just because it's too light, and it's basically just pushing someone towards the form without, again, building up enough value of the solution. So, and then they do ask quite a bit here in the form. The form feels kind of long here. So I'd be curious on testing this out a little bit on, for country, can you grab the IP address instead of having them do that? Question there. But the one thing that I did go back, so on their website though, sorry, it's taking a minute to load, is they do have really good content. Arm your officers with technology. So here's where I'm getting a better sense of what they do. And then I like how this image is stuck out, and then they have this blue background here, so it's easy to read copy over here. And then I scroll down. Again, I get more. This is the heart of what I'm looking for, is just more of what type of features, how are you going to address my pain points. So getting into a lot of that. And then I have, watch the demo. So, pop opens a video there. Cool. Request a demo. Again, this is a ghost button, so my attention isn't drawn to it. This isn't a button either. I'd like to see testing done, maybe making that more prominent. So as I'm squinting, that should pop out. That should be very easy to see. And then, of course, it's taking me back to this page. So that's, main thing on this page. Typically for a Capterra buyer, they are in a comparison mindset, and they're usually a little bit further along in the software search, but still need a little bit more information. So this type of page, if you're looking to duplicate that and test it out as standalone pages, needs more copy, more content on that page. But that you have a lot to be working with that does that. And I think, again, on this page, reinforcing the main call to action deeper into the content is also good, making that upfront for someone to convert. Okay, the next one we have, right off the bat, so the value prop is don't just build franchise ads, build brand momentum. And then, try campaign drive ads, and it's trying to parse me here between brand and franchisee. Overall, I like how they work with this image. I think the direction of how he's sitting is pulling me back over here to this content to consume that. They do this white overlay and have that faded out so that the headline copy is easy to read. So I do think it's important, depending on the image assets you're using, how to work with those images so the text is easy to read, because that can be challenging sometimes. The one thing on this page, though, I don't have enough information. They have a video here, and I started watching the video. This is a very well done video. However, if I'm not in a place where I want to be watching a video and I just want to grab some more text, that's what's missing here, I'd say, is just having some more information as what is campaign drive. Why should I care if I'm not watching that video? I like that they offer the video, but they need to have a little bit more text built out on this page. And then, as I'm being routed to these other pages, then I have these three buttons, but they're not really an offer. Your button should be the offer. This should be presented a little bit differently. It does tell me to start your hands-on trial, but I'm still confused, not sure what they do. It is clean looking, but again, I need more value add up front. So I'm going to try clicking on here, and then I'm routed to here, which is create an account. So I don't feel like you're offering me that trial that I was looking for. If I'm having to create an account right away, I think reinforcing the more compelling copy of that this is a free trial is important to reinforce that. And then, you already have an account, click here, and then you also have this use existing account. So that's taking away from the actual getting someone to submit that. And again, this should be reinforced for the trial, reinforce this with the trial, and I go back, and I'll go back again and just click over to franchisee, and I get something similar. Like the image, but not enough content for me to know what, to get me to convert. It's too light. And then I go back to try it now. It's taking me there again. So a few tips on that, building the credibility, logos, anything. I think that their homepage has much more information if I were to click back here than some of these other pages that they might be testing out as landing pages. Clicking over to our next one, so here we have a map-based app for your sales and service reps to plan, search, and locate. So I get to this page and I read this, welcome to the revolution. It doesn't really tell me much about what they do, so that needs to be more specific so that when I land here, I get a better idea on what they're offering. There's a lot of buckets here above the fold with having this and this and this, so attention is kind of torn between all three of these. Again, think through your hierarchy of information, and then, get the app. I want something layered here. Is this pushing me towards, actually purchasing the solution? I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Here is what this copy right here is a little buried above the fold. This is what really tells me what they do. So that needs to be pulled up earlier on. The other thing that I want to point out on this webpage, because, video seems to be, a trend now with having these video backgrounds, but you just want to be careful on how you use them because, for example, it's hard to consume this copy. My attention is definitely drawn to kind of watching what's going on here. So keeping simple videos, smaller reels and resets are good rather than really long videos for the background. And making sure you're not putting too much copy here because it's a little bit hard to read when you're doing that in front of your video. So just thinking through how the placement of the video, how you're using that. And overall, again, like I have all these different types of offers, finally a product, but I don't know what that is giving me. Check features, so that's different copy. Get the app, I'm pushed towards get the app again. I click on that, but it drops me to this form. So really confused. I need to have something a little bit more consistent, a little bit more compelling. I have no idea what's going to happen. It just is submit query, even though it says get app. Like, so confusing there as to, for the user, as to what's going to happen next for them. So a few tips on this web page. So I had a few more here, but we're really coming up to the hour, and I did want to leave some time for questions. So if I did not get to your web page and you want some catered feedback, feel free and email me. My email is at jbischoff@capterra.com. More than happy to take some time and looking those over. As I said, I really enjoy doing this. It's really exciting to see as you're testing something out, how much that has an impact on the growth of your company. Because all it takes is seriously a conversion or two a month for quality leads for your sales team to uplift their your conversion to sales and start having that impact with the revenue that you're contributing to the company. So I think it's really, really great. And like I said, a lot of this that I go over is based on best practices, and I do recommend everything that you're testing, just take that back to the data and let that help you better understand your user, because the whole idea on what we're doing is to cater towards your user and making it easy for them and making them love you before they actually even talk to you, because they love how you have designed your web page. That's pretty powerful. So I just want to kind of give that point across, because on my team, that's what we're working on, and that really gets us motivated day to day on what we do. Okay, so switching over to some questions. So we had a few submitted. So let me read this first one. It says, is it best practice to include a form on the page instead of a call to action that clicks through to a form on a separate landing page? So this all depends. I would say we've tested both. We haven't really seen a huge impact between the two, between having a dedicated landing page where you've embedded the form. I think for someone where you have a lot of brand recognition in the market, I think actually having that form up front will help with your conversion activity. I read an article that Basecamp's pretty well known. They ran this test between having, a button on their page that led to a form versus embedding that form on the page and lightening up on the content. It worked really well for them, but I will say they had a lot of brand recognition. So to take this back, if your software is a little bit more complicated and you have to drive some more value on the page before someone's really ready to convert, sometimes the button to a form works well. But again, this would be something I would test out. In general, for all the landing pages that our team does, we are embedding the form on the page, whether it's high on the page or low on the page. We typically do embed to keep focus on the same page. Overall, though, if you built up great content on your page, that might not have a huge impact, so it's worth testing. So next question we have here, it says, does an offer convert less if you ask for a phone number in addition to name, company, email? This is a good question. I would say a lot of the time for most software companies that we work with, having a phone number is really important because software buyers do need a little bit more hand-holding. Unless you're a really light software solution, like a light SaaS tool that's pretty easy to understand, and you've really built out your nurture track and your wizard type setup for a trial, I think you could get away with that, offering, maybe someone only needs to submit name, email, or just an email to get started with the trial version. Those that do well with that, again, are typically lighter tools, and they've done a good job with having a more wizard-like approach to getting someone to see the value of within the trial to then convert self-serve-like rather than having aggressive sales follow-up. But most of the time, a lot of the time, software buyers need more nurturing. The software can be more complicated than what they can understand upfront themselves. So having customized outreach from a salesperson can be very helpful. And a lot of the time, like a phone number, if you're getting someone on the phone, if you're getting them on the phone before your competitors, you have a leg up. So the quicker you are on getting them on the phone before a competitor does, the more likelihood you'll have in closing that buyer into a lead. So that's pretty important. So that's why, I definitely, depending on the type of software you're offering, if it is more complicated, you have a sales team, I would definitely be asking for that phone number. You can test against that, but typically email can be, if you're just asking for email, but you need to get on the phone in order to actually convert someone to a paid customer, it could be much more difficult. Like, yeah, you can send a follow-up email, ask them a quick question, start engaging them, try to schedule a time via email, but I'd say you're giving your sales team a lot more with the phone number. So it's probably worth that, asking for phone number. Great, so want to go over one more. And then, so one of the other questions is, how many things can I be testing on my page at a time? So this is a good question. What I'd say when you're testing pages out is the more that you're testing, the less you're going to know as to what exactly had the impact on your conversion, whether it was a conversion decrease or a conversion increase. So keeping that pretty simple as your A/B testing can be pretty important. The one thing that I will say, though, is just based on best practices, if your web page, isn't visually engaging and you don't have a call to action that's pulled out in a good color and a short form, I'd say start off, making quite a few changes, because that's really going to bump up your conversions right away. You're going to have pretty low-hanging fruit at drawing in a lot of leads, which can be awesome. But if you're a software company that's just now at the stage of doing A/B testing, you definitely want to make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself, so that you're at the end of the day, when you're looking at the data and you're like, well, I have no idea what had that impact. You're really wanting to understand your user better, and that test didn't really help you understand the user. So each test that you do, keeping it simple, gets you a little bit more information, and you're growing upon each of those. So that's my recommendation when you are doing A/B tests. Okay, great. So we are wrapping things up now. I really appreciate everyone that had submitted their web pages for review. If I didn't get to it, you also have a dedicated account rep here that can help go over and offer tips. I think the big thing here at Capterra is being super upfront with best practices. We really want all software companies, whether you're advertising with us or with Google, to really embrace online marketing and get better with it, so that your company is getting better, because we're all about connecting buyers with the right type of software that's going to help them in their day-to-day. All right, thank you again, and we're just going to close up the webinar now. So have a great day.